My name is Viv Roberts. I'm a general practitioner in Hastings. Both my parents were born in New Zealand, and I was born in Wellington and grew up there. I went to medical school in Auckland and graduated eventually in 1983. I then spent most of my working life in Hawke's Bay, initially at Napier Hospital and later at the working in general practice and working part-time in the Hastings Psychiatric Unit. I've also worked in other places, including Australia and Northland. Today I'm talking about men, depression and suicide, and this is a subject that I have become deeply concerned about. Suicides cost this country $1.4 billion every year. And here's a picture, here's a graph put out by the SPINS organisation in Christchurch, mainly run by a researcher called Annette Beautray. And you'll see on this picture the men are in the black lines, the women are in the grey lines, and at each age men outnumber women significantly, overall to the tune of 3 men for every 1 woman ended in suicide. Men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide following a relationship breakdown than they are at any other time. And that's information, again, from Annette Beautray in Christchurch. From this, we can say that 90% of male suicides follow relationship breakdown. I do not believe men are distraught about losing their relationship. I believe they are distraught about the treatment they get in the family court. And I believe the family court is the prime driver of this 90% of male suicide. Now, of course, we can't do research about that because everything that happens in the family court is suppressed, and so we cannot know whether a man has been through the family court or not. All we can say is this man has had a relationship breakdown. Depression is a major problem for men in this country, and I think there is insufficient research into the causes. In my work, I repeatedly see men who are significantly depressed, and I have to do what I can for them, and that means doing my best to make sense of what is happening for them. What I'm about to tell you is simply unbelievable, and for those men going through it, they also think there must be something wrong here. They must have misunderstood what's happening. What is life all about? Well, for many men, life is about their children and their family. These are my 2 children some years ago, and for me, they have been a significant driver of my reason for going to work, my reason for continuing to bother. The typical depressed man that I see has an experience that goes something like this. There are, of course, wide variations, but this is the basic pattern. One day he comes home to find that his wife and children are gone, and he's had little reason to expect that. When he looks back some years later, he can sometimes see there were things to indicate that this was coming, but at the time he has no awareness that this was about to happen. There's a variation on that theme, and that is he may arrive home to find himself served with an order preventing him from going into his home. Typically in that situation there will be a bailiff there, and he will have perhaps a quarter of an hour to get some basic necessities like his clothing from the house, but then he won't be able to return. The best estimates that I can find are that 70 to 75% of relationship breakdowns are initiated by the woman, and the vast majority of those circumstances, the woman would not have been granted a divorce under the previous divorce laws. For instance, there has been no infidelity, no violence, no obvious reason